Good afternoon to all. This is Pallavi Kumari pursuing Masters in Social Work with a specialization in Community and Youth Development from Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Sri Perambudur, Tamil Nadu. Today, I am going to discuss about the topic Relevance of Communication Theory in Social Work Practice as my Social Work Professor seminar presentation assigned by my professor Dr. Ram Babu Bocha, who is Assistant Professor at Social Work Department of RGNIYD. Social work deals with a range of different problems, some of which are relatively straightforward and simple, requiring practical solution, whilst other problems are often more complex, such as the causes of mental illness and how we might or others to prevent a relapse to the aid recovery. To work with people in ways that more events forward, we need to be able to understand what is happening and why, to be able to turn to those theories that aid understanding and action. For this to happen, we need to be able to draw on knowledge from numbers of discipline and also different types of knowledge. The six main areas of knowledge that are most often used in social work include the social theories, psychological theories, biological theories, law and social policy, communication theory, and the last, social work methods. Now I am going to explain in detail about communication theory, that what exactly it is. Communication theory, often the knowledge and understand we have acquired in most clearly relevant when we attempt to put words into our thoughts and feeling through the process of communication. Communication theory identifies a range of concepts to describe how people and organization exchange informations and highlight the complexity of the meaning and messages conveyed and received. The ability to communicate is central to effective social work practice and can take many forms through languages and speeches, the written word including email, internet, or other devices such as videotape, recording, etc. Non-verbal forms of communication can be vitally important, such as body language, choice of words, dress, use of space, distance, tone, pitch, intonation. Some elements may be unconscious to one, both, or all parties. An important concept of communication theory in social work is transferability. This describes the way that knowledge and skill have to be adapted if they are to be made relevant and applicable to different situations encountered in social work and social care. In effect, it describes the ability to remake knowledge for relevance across different contexts. The transferability of knowledge and skills call for a sound understanding of human beings in their particular situations, context, and the ability to use that understanding in ways that are reliable and enduring in different favorable situations. Imagine a world without communication. We have brilliant idea with us but possess power of communication. We have a strong desire for something but could not express this in real life. It would be blank. Such is the power of communication. Communication is the essence of life. It is the necessity to express themselves. Human beings need to be communicated. An individual has to communicate to express his feeling, pass on information, and other human beings share his thoughts and feelings. For example, a gardener waters the plant when the leaves start turning brown, becomes dry, and start showing withering signs. Turning brown, drying of leaves are actually ways the tree is trying to communicate to the gardener that it is dying and needs to be watered immediately. What is communication theory? Let's see. Communication theory was proposed by S.F. Scudder in the year 1980. It states that all living beings existing on the planet communicate, although as they have that same idea. A mother would never understand that her child is hungry unless and until the child cries. Crying is an again form through which the child communicates to his mother and needs food immediately. The same applies to the injured, where uses crying as the tool to communicate that he or she has a pain and needs medical attention immediately. Another model of communication says that communication is simply the process of transferring information from the sender to the recipient, where the recipient decodes the information and acts accordingly. Large number of people also support this model of communication theory framework. Let us examine communication and communication theory through the following viewpoints. Mechanistic. The mechanistic viewpoint says that the communication is simply the transmission of information from the first party to the second party, the first party being the sender and the second party being the receiver. Psychological According to the psychological viewpoint, communication is simply not the flow of information from sender to the receiver, but actually the thoughts feeling of the sender which he tries to share with the recipient. It also includes the reaction feeling of the receiver after he decodes the information. Social theory. The social viewpoint considers communication as a result of interaction between the sender and the receiver. It simply says that the communication is directly dependent on the content of the speech. How one communicates is the basis of the social viewpoint. The systematic viewpoint. The systematic viewpoint says that the communication is actually a new and a different message which is created, and when various individual interprets it in their own way and then reinterpret and draw their own conclusion. Critical. The critical viewpoint says that communication is simply a way with the help of which an individual expresses his power and authority among the individuals. To summarize, the communication theory proposes that to survive, every living entity needs to communicate with others and also among themselves. Communication is a desire of survival, an important component in social work. The point of note about the theories is that representation of reality as seen by the proponents and reflect realistic aspirant of the theories. There is nothing to say that such structures alone exist or that they are not valid. Instead, view organization theory that has emerged in recent years in the systems of organization sometimes is contemporary and relevant to the organizations of the 21st century. Hence, as a social worker, effective communication is significant because it helps to build a relationship between the social worker and the client. Social workers communicate with clients as well as other professionals to obtain essential information is relevant to the client's need. In conclusion, communication theory acknowledges the natural progression of organization model and has large contribution in the field of social work. Thank you all for patience listening.